It had been raining since dawn when Anna arrived at the Walters mansion. The gates were open, but the house was quiet. For the first time in 15 years, no one was there to greet her dog, Mrs. Walters had passed away 3 days ago, leaving behind a silence that felt heavier than the sky. Anna walked through the hall slowly, carrying a small bouquet of white lilies. She placed them gently on the kitchen table, where Mrs. Walters always liked to sit for her morning tea, and whispered, "Rest now, ma'am. I'll take care of your garden, just like you wanted." The lawyer had called that morning. He said the family would be gathering for the reading of the will, and that Mrs. Walters had asked Anna to be present. She had refused at first. "I'm just the maid," she said softly, but he insisted. You were more than that to her. When Anna entered the living room, she felt out of place among the polished shoes, expensive suits, and cold stares. Claire and David, the late lady's children, sat on the couch with blank faces, while Mr. Henry, the brother-in-law, tapped his fingers impatiently on the table. None of them looked at Anna. To them, she was invisible, like the furniture she had polished all those years. The lawyer began reading the will. His voice was calm, professional. "To my son, David Walters, I leave my jewelry collection. To my daughter, Claire Walters, I leave the paintings she loved. To my brother-in-law, Henry Walters, I leave nothing but my blessing." There was a short pause before the final line. The words fell into the air like thunder. Claire gasped, "What? That can't be right." David leaned forward, his voice rising. "You're joking. She's just a maid." The lawyer kept his tone steady. "Mrs. Walters signed this herself 1 month before she passed." Claire stood up, shaking. She must have been sick. She didn't know what she was doing. But the lawyer closed the folder and said quietly she knew exactly what she was doing. She said Anna gave her something none of you did. Time. Anna couldn't breathe. "No," she said, trembling. "This isn't right. I never wanted anything." The lawyer looked at her kindly. "She wanted you to have what you already made your own, a home." When the family left, Anna stayed in the empty room. The chandelier above her flickered in the afternoon light. For 15 years, she had walked these floors, mended these curtains, and wiped away tears that didn't belong to her. But now, the house didn't feel like it was hers. It felt like a ghost that refused to leave. That night, she sat by the window, watching the rain fall on the roses, and whispered, "I never wanted your house, ma'am. I just wanted you to stay." In the weeks that followed, the town began to talk. The maid who inherited a mansion. Some said it was a fairy tale. Others said it was a scandal. Reporters came to the gate, snapping photos of the old woman sweeping the porch in her worn shoes. Anna said nothing. She didn't move into the master bedroom. She didn't touch the jewelry. She still cooked the same meals, cleaned the same holes, and watered the same garden. For her, nothing had changed, except the silence. One afternoon, a black car stopped in front of the gate. Claire stepped out, her heels clicking on the stone path. "You can't stay here forever," she said sharply. "I'll buy the house." "Name your price." Anna shook her head. "This house isn't for sale, dear." Claire's voice softened slightly. "You don't understand. This place belongs to our family." Anna looked at her and said gently, "It belonged to your mother. and she gave it to me because she knew I loved it the way she did. Claire's jaw tightened. You think you deserve this? Alice smiled faintly. No, I don't. But I was here when she needed someone. Claire didn't reply. Her eyes glistened for a moment before she turned away, whispering, I just didn't know she was lonely. The next day, David arrived. He looked tired, older than his years. I came to apologize, he said quietly. I thought you took something from us, but maybe you just kept what we lost. Anna nodded. Your mother used to say love isn't what we say, it's what we do. You still have time to do something good. Seasons passed. The garden bloomed again. Children from the neighborhood came by the fence to watch Anna plant new flowers. She smiled at them, waving through the gate, and soon invited them in. On Sundays, she began reading stories under the old oak tree, the same stories Mrs. Walters had loved to hear when her eyesight started to fade. The laughter of children filled the air, echoing through the once empty halls. The house felt alive again. One morning, while cleaning the attic, Anna found a letter in a small wooden box. It was sealed with Mrs. Walters' handwriting. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Dear Anna, the letter began, if you are reading this, I'm no longer there to say thank you. You kept me alive longer than medicine ever could. You gave me laughter when the house had none, and kindness when the world forgot me. This house is yours not because I owned it, but because you made it a home. Please keep it full of life, for both of us. Tears fell silently down Anna's cheeks. She folded the letter and placed it close to her heart. That evening, she walked through the garden, touching each flower as if greeting an old friend. I'm still keeping my promise, ma'am, she whispered. The roses are blooming again. Years went by. The mansion became known as the Walters' home, a shelter for children without families. Anna turned the old rooms into bedrooms, the dining hall into a study area, and the garden into a playground. Neighbors volunteered to help. Donations came in from all over town, and on the gate, she hung a wooden sign that read, Built on love and loyalty. One spring morning, as the sunlight filled the kitchen, Anna sat in the same chair where Mrs. Walters used to sit. Her hair was silver now, her hands frail, but her eyes still carried warmth. A little girl tugged at her sleeve. Grandma Anna, can you tell us another story? She smiled. Maybe later, sweetheart. I just need to rest a little. She looked around the room. The laughter, the flowers, the gentle hum of life, and she closed her eyes peacefully. When she passed, the children of the Walters' home gathered in the garden with white lilies in their hands. Claire and David came too. They stood quietly among the crowd, no longer bitter, only grateful. David whispered, she didn't just keep the house alive. She kept Mother's heart alive. Claire nodded, tears streaming down her face. She was what we should have been. As the sun dipped behind the trees, a small boy placed a bouquet of lilies on Anna's grave. The stone read, Anna Harper, the maid who became family. The mansion stood still, bathed in golden light. Through the open window, the scent of roses drifted softly in the wind, and for a moment, it felt like Mrs. Walters and Anna were both there, together again, smiling in the garden they built with love. Sometimes, the quietest lives leave the deepest marks. And sometimes, the people who serve silently end up showing us what love really means. A hope story that heals. Story told by simple joys.